My name is Colleen Moran. I'm one of the assistant city attorneys, and I think every time I'm in front of you, I say that I'm really proud to be part of the city and one of its assistant city attorneys. You might recall that about almost 2 years ago, the city started the Compassionate Sioux Falls initiative. And we started that not because Sioux Falls isn't compassionate, but to remind people to act with compassion. And since that time, we have recognized a number of businesses and organizations, individuals who act compassionately in our community. And we're proud of that. It's amazing the things that people in our community do that show compassion for the people that live in our community, who work here, who visit here. But today is a little different than that. Today isn't necessarily the recognition of people who act with compassion, but instead it's a call for action and a call for compassionate action. November is National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Month. And when you think about that in terms of how it affects our community, I think it's a reminder that even though we live in a very generous community, there are people in our community who don't have a place to sleep at night, who might not know where their next meal comes from. And unfortunately, some of those people include children. We have a number of children who don't have a permanent residence. They don't know when they're going to be fed. They don't know what kind of support they have or where they will end up maybe the next day. We also have individuals who are veterans who, again, have no permanent place to stay, aren't sure where their next meal comes from. We have individuals with disabilities who live in our community and face those same challenges of homelessness and hunger. And so today is about bringing awareness to our community. We know that when the community is aware of issues and we ask them to take a stand and to come forward and take action, they always do that. We're really lucky today to have Stacy Teason here with us. She's part of the Homeless Advisory Board within the city and certainly is an expert on homelessness and hunger. And so I would ask Stacy to come forward and share some information with you at this time.
Thank you all for being here. I am so very excited to see a room full of people. That makes my heart very happy. And I firmly believe what Colleen just said in regards to compassion and how Sioux Falls responds. We are the best community, I think, in regards to emergency needs. If someone says they have an issue, they need something, we're pretty quick to respond. We're very good at adapting. And so today we're just asking you for the next month to really think about that in a broader context. The Homeless Advisory Board has been around for about 12 years. I have been in this role as the coordinator for 10 years, and every day is something new, every day is something exciting, and the end goal is always the same. Systems change to get people housed, keep them housed, and then provide the services that they need to get what they need and where they want to go, not where we think they need to go. And so the Homeless Advisory Board, along with the Sioux Empire Homeless Coalition and the Compassionate Sioux Falls Initiative, thanks, Colleen, are here today to really show you that collaborating with our local nonprofits is the only way that that can happen. Typically, the third week in November is set aside for National Hunger and Homeless Awareness, simply because it's the week before Thanksgiving. But we, as a community, got together and decided we needed a little bit more time. We have so many wonderful things happening, but so many people in need, so we thought we would just branch that out a little bit and take up the entire month and ask you to help us with that. So we started yesterday. We did a proclamation at the County Commission, and then here we are today with this press conference, and we will keep moving. There is a beautiful events calendar that you can find back there on the back table. It's also on the County Human Services, or the county website, actually, minnehahacounty.org, and there's a link right there to Hunger and Homeless Awareness. It's also on our state webpage for the housingforthehomeless.org, so if you want to look at it from a state perspective and see what else is going on across the state of South Dakota as we work to establish collaboration and community building, and definitely something that some of you have heard a lot about, coordinated entry, making sure that we've got our people where they need to be and that the services are all working in alignment. So the hashtag that I'm asking everyone to use, because I'm really not a guru about social media, but today I'm going to pretend like I am. So the hashtag that we're asking people to use is facing hunger and homelessness. And the reason why we selected that was because of the level of invisibility that exists in this community and in many communities across the country. And so when we think about it, the conversation really kind of just flowed around the fact that A child sitting next to your kid at school could be homeless, could have spent the night in their car and got up and went to school the next morning, and your student wouldn't know it, you wouldn't know it. How about the barista who's handing you your coffee at 7 a.m., who spent the night at the shelter and said, "Good morning, sir, have a great day." Or the story that we hear time and time again is the individual who cleaned themselves in the gas station and then went to work. That was their shower for the day because they didn't have access to other services or didn't know where to go for those services. And so when we say facing hunger and homelessness, the bottom line is it could really be any of us. And as you watch natural disaster after natural disaster unfold this year, it really could be at any given time any one of us. For our folks experiencing poverty, for our folks who have mental health challenges, who have substance abuse issues, who have spent some time, unfortunately, in prison or jail, who have struggled with their credit or criminal histories, they are very challenging to house. They are very difficult for people to want to go, "Hey, I think this will work out great, come on in." Instead, it's a little bit more cautious, a little more apprehensive. And so we say, let's start new, let's start fresh. And so with that today, the hashtag, facing hunger and homelessness, let's do it, Sioux Falls. So I have a couple of different things that I want to talk about. One of them is this Pick 6 challenge. Everything is on the table back there, so I ask that you take some with you when you go. But we called it the Pick 6 challenge. There are 14 things you could try to do on the back. One of those is coming to this press conference today, so you've already got a plus. But just kind of trying to do some things to build awareness. So go to the proclamation, attend the memorial. November 15th at 6 p.m. at the Siouxland Health and Human Services building, we will recognize our folks that have experienced homelessness and passed away. Some of them are actually homeless at the time of their passing. So just giving an opportunity to celebrate for family members, for anyone who may have known those folks, to come and treasure their experiences, those memories, and put some closure on that. And then some other fun things like painting rocks. We have a cool group from the community outreach that has already put some rocks out in play. So keep an eye out for that. I know Sioux Falls Rocks has some cool things, but this one is exclusively focusing on homeless issues. So use some statistics, use the housingforthehomeless.org website, and some of it's easy. Ride the bus. Okay, maybe that's not so easy, but ride the bus. Use a bike in the wintertime because it's a little bit more challenging. We have plenty of folks that are using the bike to get to and from work. So that sort of thing. And then the thing that I'm pretty excited about the most, because we've never tried one of these before, is a landlord engagement panel. We know that our folks are sometimes very difficult to house, and we don't always have the supportive services that are needed to keep them housed. So we're going to have 4 different landlords come and talk to us on November 16th from 11:45 to 1 o'clock and just share a little bit about their experiences of being a property manager and working with people who maybe we're really struggling with being able to stay housed. And so we'll hear from them, and then several of them wanted to talk a little bit more about the solutions. And that is really where we're at from our community perspective. We all know the barriers. We all know the obstacles. We really just want to make sure that if we can do it, we're focused on solutions and not judging. And so that comes back in with the whole compassionate piece. This time of year is great for families and blessings and being grateful for all the things that you have. And as you encounter someone experiencing homelessness, maybe because of domestic violence, maybe because they are working 2 jobs. I met a wonderful lady the other day when I was printing up some of this stuff. She just started a 2nd job. She can't make ends meet. She paid all of her bills, and she was wondering where she was going to get food until the next paycheck. It happens in this community. Our folks try. We call them working poor, but I also call them very invisible. We don't know because they're doing all the things we expect them to do, but they're struggling in silence. You see those numbers reflected by the banquet. They had a 25% increase in the number of people needing food last year, an additional 15% increase so far this year. So again, something that you can consider, and I know there's been some push, but donating to the food pantry. And just keeping in mind every day, our homeless veterans, 338 of them have been identified so far this year through the homeless outreach program at the VA. And our shelter beds, 1,367 unduplicated folks through the doors of the Bishop Dudley. So the numbers, while not New York size scary, they're very real and very scary for our community in regards to the fact that we can do better. And that would be the call to action that I leave you with today. Do that Pick 6 challenge, attend some of these events, share on Facebook, social media, Instagram, the things that you're doing, the things that you're learning, and we'll be here to help you do that. Thanks.
As you can tell, Stacy isn't very compassionate or passionate about what she does. I mean, she gets so excited about this and the difference that we can make. What I would also ask you when we're talking about a call for action is to not just think of November as Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Month, but think of every month that we have people who are hungry and homeless and see if there's something that we can do in our community to make that a better situation. I met a gentleman today whose name is Rick, and he is sitting here right in the front row. Do you want to come up beside me, Rick? Rick is here because he has, I guess we would call him our success story. He experienced some homelessness, reached out into resources that we have in our community, and now is housed. And Rick, if you just want to tell them about the difficulties that people who are homeless might face.
Well, you got no place to sleep, and if you sleep on the street, it's mighty dangerous
Can
because
you get a little closer?
people will jump you in the middle of the night, they'll steal everything you own, and so it's not safe at all. And trying to find a place to stay is real hard. So I started out at the Dudley House, and everybody there was great, as far as staff-wise went. There's a lot of violence even in there when you're trying to sleep at night, but the staff does their very best to keep everything under control, and they do a good job.
So how have things changed for you since you're now housed?
Well, I have a safe place to sleep, food. I got a great dog that keeps me company, and I met a lot of great people. And, I heard about Southeastern through some friends, and then first I met her right there, and then Ashley, and then I talked to her for a second, and then she told me about Southeastern a little bit. So I went over there, and I got hooked up, and I met Haley. But the biggest thing about street people is they've been mistreated a lot, and they don't trust people. I have the same issues. I still have them, but they're about 80% gone. But Haley helped me with a lot of that, and a lot of other people at Southeastern, because all you learn if you're on the street is violence, and there's too much alcoholism and too much drugs, and I didn't want to fall into that, because once you do that, you can only go downhill, and I didn't want to go downhill. I wanted to come uphill, so I worked as much as I could. I went to like temporary services, and if people stopped by and needed work, hey, I was first in line if I could be. And then I met lots of good people and realized, that if you try and you want to go forward, everybody reaches out to help you. But, most street people are scared to make the first step because, there's the trust issues, and which is horrible, but like they'll all relate to me because they know me, and, I wasn't no saint, I still ain't, but, if I try to meet good people, and, if I meet people and, there's drugs involved or alcohol involved, I just go the other way and try to meet somebody else. And I met lots of great people in Sioux Falls here, and I think a lot of the homeless people should reach out more, and I also think people should go meet them, like go to the city mission when they have like prayer nights and stuff like that, and you'll go in there and you'll realize a lot of them people are good people. They're just afraid to take the first step.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
We certainly appreciate Rick sharing his story with us, and I think it also shows the compassionate agencies that we have in our community, Southeastern, who was able to guide him and help him move from homelessness into having a permanent residence. And that certainly is what we are looking for.